Have you ever wondered about the mysteries that connect heaven and earth? This is a biblical story that transcends time and takes us to a heavenly ladder. Imagine yourself on a starry night where a man named Jacob rests in a lonely place. He doesn't know it, but he's about to have an encounter with the divine. What Jacob saw in his dream would change his life forever. A staircase that stretched up to heaven, angels going up and down. What does that mean? Continue with this video and let's unravel this mystery together. Just like Jacob, we all seek something greater, a connection with the transcendental, a purpose that goes beyond our everyday lives. Jacob's ladder teaches us about this quest. In this video, we delve into the story of Jacob's ladder, exploring its layers of meaning, revelations, and how it resonates with our own lives. This is one of the most fascinating stories in the Bible, the vision of Jacob's ladder. A story that transcends time and space, connecting heaven and earth, the divine and the human. Prepare to discover profound truths and inspiring insights that Jesus revealed about this mysterious event. Our story begins with Jacob, the grandson of Abraham, on a journey to Haran. He is part of a chosen lineage, carrying with him not only the promises made to his ancestors, but also the weight of his own mistakes and family conflicts. The story of Jacob's ladder, which we find in the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verses 10 to 19, is more than a mere account of a prophetic dream. It is set at a critical moment in the life of Jacob, a patriarch whose journey is marked by both family conflicts and divine promises. In the city of Beersheba, where life followed its ancestral course, Esau and Jacob were born, twin brothers. Jacob was the second blessed son of Isaac and Rebekah. His destiny was already set from the moment he came into the world, Esau's twin, but with an expertise that would reveal itself as a shadow on his journey. Jacob's childhood was marked by intrigue and fraternal rivalry. From a young age, the brothers lived in a rivalry of preference, as the Bible makes it clear. And Isaac loved Esau because hunting was his pleasure, but Rebekah loved Jacob. But it was at a crucial moment, a crossroads in destiny, that Jacob, with expertise and a burning heart, shaped the course of events. The burning hunger of Esau, the firstborn son, was known to his brother. One day, after hours of toil in the open air, he returned, exhausted and hungry. It was then that Jacob, realizing his brother's vulnerability, saw a unique opportunity. Jacob, observant and cunning, prepared a steaming bowl of soup, the tempting aroma of which exhaled into the air. Esau approached, his tired and hungry features revealing the urgency in his soul, and said, "Jacob, please give me some of that soup. I'm exhausted and hungry." A subtle smile played on Jacob's lips, because there, before him, was the opportunity he was looking for. "I will give you this delicious soup, but in return, I want something of value. He is your birthright. Assure me that when the time comes, you will give up your place as firstborn." Esau, guided by voracious appetite and believing that the title of firstborn was just a distant formality, thoughtlessly agreed. He swore an oath, selling his right as eldest son to Jacob. In an instant, the bowl of soup changed hands, and with it, the fates of two intertwined souls. Jacob's eyes shone with a mixture of triumph and calculation. The seemingly trivial price of the bowl of soup was actually the key that would unlock the doors of the future. The transaction was complete, a deal that would increase the rivalry in the twins' fraternal relationship. The soup bowl's cunning act was only the prelude to a more intricate narrative that would unfold against the barren backdrop of betrayals and acquired blessings. Jacob, now driven by an insatiable desire, orchestrated a bold plan to receive the blessings that were destined for Esau, his firstborn brother. His father, Isaac, aged and nearly blind, was about to grant the blessing that would seal his son's fate. In Genesis chapter 27 you have the details of this moment in history. Thus, the blessing that should have been destined for Esau was transferred to Jacob. The price of Jacob's cunning was high, and the consequences would reverberate beyond the reach of mortal vision. As Jacob walked away from his father's tent, the blessings he had acquired weighed on his shoulders like a burden mixed with triumph and remorse. Sent by his mother Rebekah, Jacob left behind the family lands in Beersheba, seeking safe refuge under the wings of his uncle Laban. Each step was a penance, a journey that reflected not just the geographic distance, but the emotional vastness that stretched between him and his betrayed brother. Night fell over Jacob like a veil, and solitude became his only company. Under the blanket of the starry sky, Jacob found a makeshift place to rest, a cold stone serving as a pillow for his tired head. The hardness of the rock was a cruel metaphor for his own choices, and as the desert stretched out around him, the darkness embraced him as a constant reminder of the uncertain path he had chosen to follow. The night sighs echoed in the desert as Jacob, in the midst of solitude, reflected on the past that brought him there. The image of Esau, furious and betrayed, haunted his thoughts like a relentless shadow. The price of his shares manifested itself not only in physical distance, but in the invisible scars that marked Jacob's soul. It is in this scenario of uncertainty that he sees the ladder, a powerful symbol of hope and connection with God. In the stillness of the night, Jacob saw clarity for the uncertain future that lay before him. The journey, still long and full of challenges, awaited like an unexplored chapter in his book of life. The cold stone beneath his head bore witness not only to loneliness, but to the resilience of a man searching for redemption beneath the vast celestial cloak. Exhausted, Jacob lies down to rest in a place called Bethel. Here, he has a dream, the vision of a staircase. Its base touched the arid soil of Bethel, while its top reached the unexplored heights where angels rose and descended in a celestial choreography. The transcendental vision unfolded before Jacob like a portal between the visible and the invisible, between the earthly and the divine. At the top of the ladder, God reveals himself to Jacob. In the vision, God not only reaffirms the promise made to Abraham and Isaac, but also extends this promise to Jacob, guaranteeing him numerous descendants and possession of the land. The ladder represents the continuity of divine purpose through generations, a bridge between the past and the future. Jacob's heart, once heavy with the burden of his choices and the loneliness of the night, now overflowed with renewed hope. The dream at Bethel not only changed his perspective, but sealed his journey with God. The thread that connected his story to the promises made to Abraham and Isaac now became unbreakable, like the heavenly ladder that rose before him. The sun, faithful squire of the dawn, dispelled the shadows of the night in Bethel. Jacob, awakening from the sleep that had led him to the heavenly vision, felt the reverberation of sacredness that permeated the air. Aware of the divine presence that had visited him the night before, Jacob recognized that he was before something sacred. The place of the dream, which Jacob names Bethel, House of God, becomes a sacred landmark, a memorial of God's presence and faithfulness. This place becomes a spiritual reference point, not only for Jacob, but for the entire people of Israel. Jacob, previously marked by controversial choices and loneliness, felt an inner transformation. The heavenly vision at Bethel not only illuminated the darkness of his journey, but also ignited a spiritual flame that burned in his heart. He saw himself as part of something bigger, a divine narrative that unfolded not just in events, but in spaces consecrated by encounters with the sacred. Compelled by gratitude and a desire to express his devotion, Jacob made a sincere vow to God that morning at Bethel. If God will be with me, watch over me on this journey I am taking, provide me with food and clothing, and bring me back safely to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God. And this stone that I have placed as a pillar today will serve as God's sanctuary, and of everything you give me I will certainly give you a tenth. Genesis 28:20-22. Jacob departed Bethel with transformed baggage, carrying not only the stones marked by the sacred oil, but also a deeper understanding of his own journey and the role he played in divine history. The nocturnal solitude gave way to the certainty of the divine presence, and Bethel, once a dark place, became a light that would illuminate your path, even in the darkest moments. This vision of Jacob's ladder is rich in symbolism and has been interpreted in many ways over the centuries. For Christians, the ladder is seen as a prefiguration of Jesus Christ, the mediator between God and men, as mentioned in the Gospel of John, chapter 1. Verses 47-51. The number of steps that the ladder contained is not known for certain, although favoritism fell on the number 7, probably due to the mystical nature of this number accepted almost everywhere as the number of perfection. Centuries later, Jesus Christ, the promised Messiah, speaks to Nathanael on this same ladder. He reveals himself as the true Jacob's ladder, the bridge between heaven and earth, the path by which humanity can reach the divine. Jesus' revelation about Jacob's ladder is mentioned in the New Testament, specifically in the Gospel of John 1:51. In this passage, Jesus speaks to Nathanael about the vision of Jacob's ladder, reinterpreting Jacob's dream in a significant way. Jesus tells Nathanael, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." With this statement, Jesus reveals himself as the true Jacob's ladder, the connection between heaven and earth, and the only way to reach the divine. This statement by Jesus has a profound theological meaning. By describing himself as the bridge between heaven and earth, Jesus is affirming his divinity and his central role in the reconciliation between God and humanity. He is the mediator who unites heavenly and earthly realities, allowing human beings to have access to God through him. Jesus' speech to Nathanael highlights that Jacob's ancient vision was a foreshadowing of his own mission and identity as the promised Messiah. By establishing this connection between Jacob's dream and his own work, Jesus demonstrates that he is the fulfillment of the promises and prophecies of the Old Testament. In this vision, we see that angels play a crucial role in the vision of Jacob's ladder, symbolizing the ongoing connection between the divine and the human. They are messengers of God, representing his protective and blessing presence in Jacob's life. As Jacob rested in the land of his ancestors, he had a vision that would transform his understanding of the divine. In his dream, a majestic staircase extended from the earth to heaven, and along it, angels of God ascended and descended incessantly. These pure and resplendent celestial beings were the ambassadors of heaven, bringing divine messages and blessings to humanity. This staircase was not a mere physical structure, but a living bridge, pulsating with the energy of God himself. The angels, in their ethereal beauty, moved with purpose and grace, each carrying God's promises to the world. They were tangible proof of God's closeness to man, even in times of uncertainty and fear. The angels on Jacob's ladder remind us that we are not alone on our journey. They are the manifestation of God's constant care, watching over and guiding every step we take. In Jacob's vision, each angel that ascended and descended was a reminder that heaven is attentive to our struggles and aspirations. Jesus, when speaking to Nathanael, revealed himself to be the real ladder that Jacob saw in his dream. He is the path by which God's angels continue to ascend and descend, bringing God's presence closer to us than we could ever imagine. What does this staircase mean to us today? How can we find our own Bethel, our meeting place with God? And what does it mean to go up and down this ladder in our spiritual journey? Jacob's ladder, or the connection between heaven and earth that he saw in his dream, has significant relevance to our spiritual journey today. It symbolizes the bridge between God and humanity and helps us understand how we can get closer to God in our everyday lives. Shall we explore these reflections in more detail? The ladder represents the ongoing connection between God and humanity. In his vision, Jacob saw angels ascending and descending the ladder, indicating that God is constantly active in our lives, sending messengers and blessings. Likewise, the ladder symbolizes access to the presence of God, which is now possible through Jesus Christ. Bethel means house of God and was the place where Jacob had his vision. Finding our own Bethel today means finding a place or a moment of deep connection with God. It can be a physical place, such as a church or a meditation space, or a state of mind in which we make ourselves available to God in prayer, reflection, or worship. Going up and down the ladder on our spiritual journey can be interpreted as a process of growth and transformation. Climbing the ladder symbolizes seeking a more intimate connection with God, elevating our spiritual awareness and deepening our faith. Climbing the ladder represents bringing this divine connection into our everyday lives, living according to the principles and teachings of Jesus, and serving others. Our spiritual journey is a continuous movement between heaven and earth. Through Jesus, we have access to the presence of God, and this connection allows us to grow in our faith and be transformed into the image of Christ. At the same time, we are called to live this faith in our relationships with others and in the decisions we make daily. Just as Jacob faced challenges on his journey, we also face obstacles on our spiritual journey. However, God's promise to be with us and guide us is a source of strength and hope. Going up and down the ladder symbolizes our constant search for God, even in the midst of difficulties, and the certainty that He is with us in every step. Jacob's ladder is a powerful image of God's constant presence in our lives. She invites us to seek a deeper connection with the divine, while living out our faith in the world in an authentic and transformative way. Jacob wakes up from his transformed dream. He recognizes that God is present even in the most unexpected places. He calls that place Bethel, or house of God. And we, like Jacob, are invited to open our hearts to the open heavens and divine promises that await us. We hope this journey up Jacob's ladder has illuminated your path and strengthened your faith. Until next time, keep searching, climbing, and descending your own spiritual ladder.